only.
All right, Game Time Decisions. We are live here on a Thursday night on SportsGrid. Kevin Walsh, Gabriel Morency. Let's call it what it is. Light night of sports. It's just what it is, Gabe.
Well, I tell you what, I hope you have the NFL network because that's what takes center stage tonight. We always talk about, on a daily basis, we sort of know, what means more. You know what the night is about. Now, unless you're excited for Seattle and San Diego, Major League Baseball, and I actually do have an early baseball pick in a couple of minutes here, Kevin. But for me, tonight it's UFL football. And once again, let's give them credit, Kevin. Let's give them credit where they stepped up with that Tuesday night game last week when they knew it was sort of a light night in the sports world. And once again, they look at the sports schedule and they say, you know what? Thursday night football, perfect night for this. It's on the NFL Network tonight. Yet let me ask you this, because I've been thinking about this, and I've said this for a couple of years now. I don't understand. It's sort of like, the NBA play-in. It's exactly like the Dayton stuff, right? So, like, how come, like, why don't we just start now? Like, how come, like, the play-in's a game, like, the teams that played Tuesday play tonight, and the teams that played last night play Friday, Kevin? This isn't rocket science. And then, you play Thursday in the playoffs, and you play Sunday in the playoffs. Like, what am I missing?
It is, so I get what you're saying. The reason I find this very funny is by setting the play-in up like this, what the NBA is letting everybody know is that the back-to-backs are completely unacceptable and the worst thing about their schedule. And these fools,
now they give them 3 days off for one
game.
Yeah.
They're so scared of back-to-backs. They go, not even in the play-in could we dream of giving anybody a back-to-back. We're going to take the night off. This is prime real estate. They take the night off because they know how bad the back-to-backs are. And that's why today they had to come out with exceptions for Luka and Cade to be on the All-NBA teams because their 65-game rule, nearly 2 guys who might be first-team All-NBA nearly weren't even on the list.
Yeah, you know what? And that's something that they, we've got the playoffs here now. I don't think that's a storyline that they should want out there, but good job by them getting it right. It's better to admit when you're wrong.
That's true.
We talked about it. If you miss time with a collapsed lung diving for a ball, like you weren't in Hawaii on vacation.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, good on them. But listen, it's been a good week for the NBA. I'm just bringing up the schedule. And not to mention, Kevin, the NHL. You have NHL regular season games tonight. The playoffs start in less than 48 hours. like teams like that are playing tonight are playing on Sunday. Like, what are we doing? Right? But it is what it is. I can't worry about the schedules anymore. I miss the old days. The old days, Kevin, there was one dude that made the NFL schedule. It literally took him like 3 months to do it. And he was one guy, and he had all the names on a wall. And he was like, sort of like a math guy, just sort of, moving names around and like doing the schedule. Major League Baseball used to be a couple in Vermont. Literally. It's like, you'd never guess. They're like a mom and pop couple.
Outrage.
They look like farmers. And they would sit in their kitchen and basically do the Major League Baseball schedule. I tell you what, they did a better job. Like, let's go back to the Farmer's Almanac days. AI and computers and this and that and all the technology. None of these leagues can get it right. But it is what it is. And listen, you're not going to be here tomorrow, so it gives us an opportunity to hit the NBA series, actually, because tomorrow we'll be back onto the games on the show. And as I stated, we do have a UFL football game tonight as well. And final night of play in the NHL. And there's 2 games that do matter tonight. The Anaheim Ducks and the Edmonton Oilers are jockeying for home ice still, and they both play tonight.
So I actually, because I am very excited to do some of the NBA playoffs, but I just figured if people are looking for tonight, maybe the UFL, right? There's a couple of late baseball. But if there are NHL games that matter, that might be enough to get people to the window. I think that that's completely within reason. And look, again, I don't like faking things. I don't fake things. But it's also, why would I fake it and be like, here's what matters tonight. Blues. No, Gabe's here. I know Gabe can handle this for everybody. So can you just lay it out, Gabe? What is exactly on the line tonight here in the NHL final regular season slate?
There is still quite a bit on the line, actually. All things considering, but it's all within the same division type of deal. Like, it's pretty wild. The Edmonton Oilers could be the second place team and have home ice, or they could actually end up being a wild card still. So when I said there's 2 games, there's actually 3. I was sort of getting ahead of myself and assuming that not everybody's going to lose. But we already know, Kevin, Edmonton and Anaheim are playing each other. So it's going to be the Ducks versus the Oilers.
Wow,
what
not
we
the
don't
Kings
know,
finally.
Well, we sort of thought like it was sort of locked in. That's with the exception if they don't lose and the Kings win tonight and the Oilers lose. The Oilers are playing the league worst Vancouver Canucks tonight, so I don't want to get ahead of myself. But, and it's pretty wild, the Canucks are having their best run of the season, Kevin, right now. They're on a 3-game win streak to end the season here. They won their last home game the other night. I thought they would. There were a bunch of fans. They had a meet and greet with the fans for the game. And similar situation tonight. I think Calgary can get it done tonight on home ice, even though LA are playing for something. So basically, LA, Edmonton, and Anaheim are all sort of like playing for a potential home ice. LA are basically hoping for a miracle to get out of playing Colorado, essentially. So, long story short, if you want to talk about teams that are trying tonight, that want to win the game tonight, the LA Kings want to win the game tonight. The Edmonton Oilers want to win the game tonight, and the Anaheim Ducks in Nashville want to win the game tonight. And not to get too confusing and dumb here, but to pile on, the Oilers just need to get to overtime, and they just need a single point. And so they don't need the win, but they can't lose. Like, they don't want to lose the game.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, if they lost and the Kings won and the Ducks win, suddenly, like, the Oilers are a wild card. And you don't want to have to play the Colorado Avalanche in the first round, Kevin. So there is some hockey to be played tonight.
That's really interesting. And just kind of seeing here, like, Anaheim needing it or wanting it, maybe needing a strong wanting it, but only minus 130, right, to a decent enough Nashville team at home, probably happy to play spoiler kind of situation. You've got the Kings in Calgary, actually, against the Flames. And, Calgary, not a very good team. But I wonder, it's like eliminated at home, might
Kevin.
as well play spoiler.
Let me bring this up. The Calgary Flames are 7-0-1 in their last 8 home games.
Okay. Wow. Impressive.
Yeah. Like, they're ending strong at home. They're a prideful group, this team. The thing with the Calgary Flames, Kevin, it's sort of like they're not a great team, but they weren't supposed to be a great team.
Yeah.
Like, they actually play hard, man. Like, they battle hard. Like, it's not from a lack of effort. Like, you won't see their coach saying, these guys just didn't bring it. These guys try hard. They're talent challenged. They don't have any stars. Like, they're just sort of a no-name brand team. And they've had players, but the players left. But with all that being stated, there's something about it, Kevin. Hockey players are pretty prideful players, and they feel like they do care about the fans and stuff. So they like to win that last home game. Like, look, the Vancouver Canucks are terrible this year. They're like literally they had the worst home record than the expansion Vancouver Grizzlies had in their first year of basketball.
Yeah,
they didn't win back-to-back home games all year. Like, it was bad. But they had a meet and greet before the game with the fans outside the arena. There were literally like thousands of people, like teenage girls crying because they're meeting some stiff player that's on their worst team in the NHL. And I was like, they got to win for these people.
Yeah.
And they did.
All right, there you go, Vancouver. I got one prop question in the NHL after the break. All right, let's quickly mention a baseball pick that Gabe has. Baseball is sneaking up a 6-10 game on us here, Gabe. Go for it.
Yeah, you know what? Let's take the Cleveland Guardians tonight. We're going to take the Cleveland Guardians. I like this. Listen, man, this baseball team just every year overachieves. Yeah. They expect to win. I like what their manager was talking about. It was unacceptable, like basically. We played very uninspiring. We played a very uninspiring game. We have to get better. You know, you'd think that they're having a terrible year or something, right? Like this team has high expectations and they expect to play fundamentally strong baseball. And listen, man, there's a lot of good young pitchers in the game, and only a few of them seem to get hype. But this kid Parker Messick, guys, has been rock solid. 2-0 with a 0.51 ERA so far on the season. But going back to last year, and if people don't really know who he is, I don't blame you. These are his first starts. So this is, he's had 10 starts. All right. He's 5-1. He's only lost once, Kevin.
Yeah.
He lost once last year when he became he joined the team late last year, had a couple of starts, 7-8 starts. Continuing into this year, bro, he's 2-0 with a 0.51 ERA. The league hasn't figured Messick out yet. I like them at home tonight, small price against Baltimore.
Yeah, the Messick stuff is one where it's a really just kind of name value, right? He doesn't have that, but he's a 25-year-old from the Guardian system. Why couldn't he be ace level? And it's not like he only throws 4 innings, right? 6, 5, 6 2/3. So that you're starting to see that also creep up. It totally tracks. I also just wanted to mention with a game that's still going on, because it's something we talked about going into this A's-Rangers series, a 9-6 game right now. Maybe the A's rally. We'll see. There have been 2 series so far in Sacramento. At least one game has had 15 runs so far. Now, it's only the 7th game, but there are 3 out of the 7 games have had 15 or more runs so far in Sacramento, right? It's just something to keep your eyes on. They aren't booking it like Coors. I kind of don't know why. I'm not entirely sure, Gabe, why these numbers. I think they might have posted an 8 again today here. I do not know why they're doing that.
Yeah, you figure eventually they're going to catch up. You and I talked about it in the first game of this series, and it ended up creeping over the number late in the baseball game, right? It was 8-1 or 7-1, 8-1. It just ended up getting there. There's the anomalies where, the Athletics offense hasn't showed up, but just wait as the weather warms up, Kevin, in this ballpark. Mm-hmm. And like you said, it's a small sample size. They haven't played a lot of home games yet, right? This is only their second series, actually. It's pretty wild. So it's only their second home series. And, yeah, once the weather starts to warm up and the Athletics bats start to come alive more, it's strange, though, isn't it?
Right?
I was going to say that, though. Isn't it strange, though, Kevin? The Athletics, all those bats, right? They've got all this power on their team and explosive young offensive stars, yet they lose at home all the time. And then their pitching is very Colorado-ish almost from before, but bizarro world. They go on the road and look, they go 5-1 in New York. They don't give up a run for 24 innings or whatever the hell it was. You know what I mean? It was just constant, yeah, man, our pitchers were great. We gave up 1 run. We shut them out. 17 consecutive shutout innings with the Yankees. They shut the Mets down after. And then they go home, and they're stopped up again, Kevin. And they don't score. So it's the whole thing. It's all right, yeah, our pitchers will give up some runs when we get back home, but so will the other team. It's strange. It's not like the Athletics. It was the same thing last year. They weren't a great home team, and so far, similar situation.
100%, but I think that's what makes it even more interesting, right? Is Shea Langoliers leads this team with 6 home runs on the season. 5 of them are on the road so far. So it's just wait, what happens when the A's start hitting at home? At some point, that is going to happen here. At least that's my view. The one thing that caught my eye with the last game of the night, which is the Padres and the Mariners, that 8.5 feels again, I know that's not what odds makers do, but it's a little bit of, whoa, a 6.9 ERA versus a 4.9 ERA. It's Louis Castillo and Walker Buehler. That feels a little high. smooth sailing to 9 runs, I'm not so sure. I know they got there last night, but obviously that was in dramatic fashion. Yeah, so to me, I think an under is live late night in the Padres and the Mariners. I do want to ask a hockey question quickly, Gabe, before I forget, because I know if you tell me an NBA player needs 1 triple-double in the last game of the regular season and he'll get some benchmark, he's getting the triple-double, right? Connor McDavid is 2 goals away from his second 50-goal season. He's been on an incredible streak with the goals. McDavid would finish 3rd, I assume, right? I think it's McKinnon and Cole Caulfield, the other 2 50-goal scorers right now. Does it matter to McDavid to get to that 50 number tonight?
No, I don't think it does. But at the same point in time, it doesn't mean that he won't do it. I mean, the guy had 5 points in like 2 periods the other night, Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he literally can just put a team, like, he can take over, right? Like, he can go off. And tonight, like we stated, there's home ice at stake here tonight. The Oilers were very vocal about ending strong and playing well, getting the home ice and catapulting into the playoffs on Sunday. You think about it, it's a big difference. You know, there was such. I was just going to say, though, with McDavid, Kevin, I think, I think he wants to get, you know what I mean? I'm not saying he doesn't care. But at the same point in time, if you're Connor McDavid, like, you've kind of done everything. It's like asking Josh Allen if he cares about winning another MVP. I think he wants the Super Bowl now. You know what I'm saying?
Probably even less, right? It's like, hey, Josh, do you want to throw for 4,000 yards?
He's like, like some rushing milestone. Oh, yeah, you're moving in on Steve Young. It'd be like,
I'll get him next year.
Like, whatever.
I'll get him next year.
It's a good. You know what I'm saying?
That's why I asked. Because he's Gabe. You know he's 4-1 for 2 goals tonight. You know a lot of people are going to bet Connor McDavid for 2+ goals tonight to get to that round 50 number at 4-1. But I do like that's it. The thing is, he might just.
It's
get
not a bad price actually for him.
He's Connor McDavid, right? I thought it'd be cheaper.
It's not a bad price.
All right, so maybe some. I don't know about value, but a fair maybe number on McDavid for 2. We'll talk some NBA series after the break on SportsGrid. I got to tell you, Kansas basketball the last 3 months, if I was the number 1 player in the country, I'd cross them off my list. Bill Self did not do Darren Peterson any favors. And now Badunga's going to stay in college but leave Lawrence? I'm red flags, in my opinion, Gabe, around the Jayhawks.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
For those people who use YouTube, there's a new feature that is powered by AI. And what is this exactly, Simon?
So let's say you're watching Yankees highlights, and you can say, YouTube, when is the next game at Yankee Stadium? You see that information on the screen. How much is the cost? What seats are available? You see that information on the screen. All right, call the Yankee Stadium box office. I want to make a reservation for 2 tickets.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
All these idiots out there sounding off on Tiger right now. See, it's so easy to go after a guy that's hurt. He's hurt. Whether you call it whatever you want. He's got a little bit of an issue that he's going to fix. Okay? They're attacking. Attack. Why don't you all shut up and let him go do his thing? He had to leave the country to do it because of privacy? That's nauseating to me.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio. Only on SportsGrid.
We may be talking about this as one of the best divisions in baseball. It's not generally something we do, but if the Pirates just hold court and the Reds just hold court and the Cubs are in this thing, I mean, the Brewers are going to be there in the end too. I mean, that's 4 of the 5 teams. I do think the Cardinals are going to push back at some point, to fall back a little bit, but I got 4 teams with a possibility of making the postseason here, Donnie.
Pro Baseball Today. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, we're back here on SportsGrid, and obviously I'm now just looking through D'Angelo Williams' box scores from his college days. And of course, this guy doesn't remember what he did in his last game. 2 separate seasons at Memphis, he was within 50 yards of 2,000 rushing yards. Just didn't get it either time. Because he clearly didn't know. Usually, again, a guy that
didn't
close,
care.
they're going to get it. Couldn't care less. Couldn't care
I'm
less.
telling you, and this is during the break, as we're talking about Connor McDavid, I told Kevin a quick story about D'Angelo Williams, the running back. And I had him on the show, and I brought up, and I was at Super Bowl, so he was sitting next to me, and I said, this guy went off an MVP. What bowl game was it? Whatever bowl. I said, MVP, game of this, and they got drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers. And he said to me, he goes, I don't remember that. He goes, did I do that? Yeah. And he goes, what game? He started sort of looking at the box score himself. He goes, I said, he goes, against who? What? He was kind of like totally lost. And he wasn't impressed. He's like, yeah, whatever. He's kind of like, yeah. He was more excited about the wrestling.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a funny story. I met Wayne, my uncle played with Wayne Gretzky when I was a kid. And I was like 11 years old. Gretzky was like a rookie. And so I hate to admit how old I am at this point, right? So I'm sitting there. Basically, my uncle told me after an Edmonton Oilers practice in Montreal, meet me in the diner across the street. And I'm going to bring a couple of my friends over. And I'll meet you guys. And basically, Wayne Gretzky and Mark Messier walked in. So I'm like 11 years old, and Wayne Gretzky was chasing Marcel Dion for like the scoring lead, like the scoring title in the NHL at the time. And I had the newspapers, no computers. So I had the newspaper, and I said to Gretzky, hey, Mr. Gretzky, you're 4 points behind, whatever, for the lead. And he had no idea, Kevin. He wasn't fake. He had no idea. He said he was interested, too. He goes, oh, am I? And he asked me, how many goals do I have? And I said, he goes, wow, it's pretty good. And he started laughing. And, and he said, how many points do I have? He was curious. He goes, let me see this. And he was looking. And he was like, it was really cool, like seeing Gretzky looking at. And Gretzky was more fascinated by his teammates. Like, that's the type of guy, like the way he thought.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, look, Curry's got 79. Wow, that's cool. Like, it was almost like he had never seen, he'd never seen this in his life, Kevin. He was like, really? And he was like, wow. Like, he was looking at this like he had never. And then he told me, he goes, I don't really care about that stuff. And he gave it back to me. And I swear, like, it's true, bro. The true greats don't care about that stuff. They want to win.
Yeah.
Right? They want to win. You know what I mean? That's they want to win.
I just got
Connor McDavid, like some guys, like if McDavid scored 2 goals tonight and the Oilers don't win the home ice, you think he's driving home happy? Well, I scored 50 again. That's pretty good, huh? No, he's going to be like, I can't believe we lost. Like, this is terrible, you know?
Yeah, no, it's totally fair. It's totally fair. This is also now, this is becoming a more common occurrence where Gabe gives me a random college career to go. Not like Gabe said it on Glenn Wright's rabbit hole. No, but just quickly, I just wanted so D'Angelo Williams has the 34th and 36th most rushing yards in a single season, right? I think the only other guy to have 2 seasons of top 36 or more is like Jonathan Taylor. So
that's wild.
I had no idea that D'Angelo
and he wasn't
Williams
bad in the NFL either.
No,
D'Angelo Williams wasn't a bad NFL back.
How did he sniff 2,000 twice? That's just remarkable to me. But also, who would have known? Legitimate all-time great, arguably, D'Angelo Williams. That's just he's 6th all-time in career rushing yards in college.
Oh, he's one of the best college running backs of all time.
Yeah, sure is.
And he doesn't know it.
Yeah.
He has no idea.
No idea.
If you told him, you're actually a top seed, be like, what? Top 6 what? Who? What?
It's just, yeah. All right, I'll stop doing the D'Angelo Williams stats. We're going to get into some of this NBA. I wanted to just bring this up quickly, and I think Gabe will agree with this. We can talk about who we think will win and where there's some value, but I still feel like some of the sports books, Gabe's, are a little light on options. Not every book has. I like series leaders when you talk about total points, rebounds, assists. I want to see, I want to try, I know you don't mind some playoff, winner parlays. I would love to get like a couple of teams to not be swept, right? I'm trying to see how expansive these menus get before everything does tip off on Saturday. Well, I won't. We'll get more right into it after the break. Yeah, we'll get right into it after the break. Points, rebounds, assists. Best producer in the game.
I gotta tell you, Kansas basketball the last 3 months, if I was the number one player in the country, I'd cross them off my list. Bill Self did not do Darren Peterson any favors. And now Badunga's gonna stay in college, but leave Lawrence? I'm red flags, in my opinion, Gabe, around the Jayhawks.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
For those people who use YouTube, there's a new feature that is powered by AI. And what is this exactly, Simon?
So let's say you're watching Yankees highlights, and you can say, YouTube, when is the next game at Yankee Stadium? You see that information on the screen. How much is the cost? What seats are available? You see that information on the screen. All right, call the Yankee Stadium box office. I want to make a reservation for 2 tickets.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
All these idiots out there sounding off on Tiger right now. See, it's so easy to go after a guy that's hurt. He's hurt. Whether you call it whatever you want. He's got a little bit of an issue that he's going to fix. Okay? They're attacking. Attack. Why don't you all shut up and let him go do his thing? He had to leave the country to do it because of privacy? That's nauseating to me.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio. Only on SportsGrid.
We may be talking about this as one of the best divisions in baseball. It's not generally something we do, but if the Pirates just hold court and the Reds just hold court and the Cubs are in this thing, the Brewers are going to be there in the end too. I mean, that's 4 of the 5 teams. I do think the Cardinals are going to push back at some point. They'll fall back a little bit, but I got 4 teams with a possibility of making the postseason here, Donnie.
Pro Baseball Today. Only on SportsGrid.
We're back with you guys right here. It is Game Time Decisions on SportsGrid. And let's start hot. I want to throw something Gabe's way. The Cavs-Raptors series, of course, I know Gabe will have a lot of your attention here. And one of the things that is true for this series, that is true for almost every single series, is the regular season sample isn't going to help you that much. And I'm not being dismissive of Toronto being up 3-0. Every one of those games was before December. So not only is that before the Harden trade, but then you just factor in, Allen missed a game, Donovan Mitchell missed a game, Mobley missed a game, because that's the NBA, right? It makes things a little bit difficult. But one number that I am super interested in is Scotty Barnes to lead this series in assists. It's around 3-1. I'm going to wait and see. Best number we can get. James Harden averages under 8 assists per game when playing alongside Donovan Mitchell. Not a bad number, but this is not 11, 12, 13 assists Harden. For Scotty Barnes, when Emmanuel Quickley is out, 9.4 assists per game. Quickley played in the regular season finale and got hurt again. I think he misses games in this series, or at best, is a 20-minute-a-night guy. And I think that creates value, Gabe, on Scotty Barnes at a nice number to lead this series in a total assists.
I don't hate that at all. Scotty Barnes is a great passer and playmaker, high basketball IQ. And I think, Scotty has something to prove here. The Raptors as a whole have something to prove. But Scotty Barnes is a great player, but you need a statement win, right? And I'm not talking about an NBA championship right now, but this could be a coming out party for people to realize just how good he could be. Good point by you. I think quickly he's going to play, but it's not a positive sign. And you have to wonder, like, can he go hard? And it's going to be a very physical series, man, between these two teams, right? So is he, can he handle the rigors of what I hope and I think is going to be a longer series? Interesting number I came across, and good point, and no one can dispute it, as you stated. The regular season matchups mean nothing. We've seen with the Raptors, though, they've had a hard time with certain teams, and they've been dominant against others. Now, they did sweep the Cavaliers 3-0 this year, but interesting number for the Raptors, Kevin, against top 8 defenses. All right, so top 8 defenses in the National Basketball Association. The Raptors are 2-18. Against anyone that is 9th and lower defensively, the Raptors are 44-18. Since the Cavaliers have gotten James Harden, they're ranked 18th. They have taken a hit defensively, Kevin, right? I mean, we look at his Cavs team from past years, what would we think? Allen, Mobley, physical, battle, sort of the Twin Towers. Like, yeah, these guys play street ball. They're physical. They're tough. They're really good defensively. They block shots. They're not really good defensively anymore, right? And that sort of helps the Raptors a little bit because the Raptors are not a great offensive team, right? They got 3 guys that can give you 20, but as a whole, they don't shoot the 3 very well, so they kind of need their 3. I know this Raptor team very well, guys. They've got 3 guys, right, that are super consistent. Right, in Barnes and Ingram and in Barrett. The question is, where do the rest of the points come from, Kevin, with this team?
Yeah.
And they're also one of these teams. It's very Kyle Lowry, DeRozan-like Raptors and Siakam. It's like, yeah, if all 3 guys all play, basically all do what they're supposed to do, which is hard to do, right? Like, if all 3 you give us 22, then, yeah, we can win. It's a tough, like, who's going to be that other X factor for the Raptors, which is a little bit of concern for me. But, we were talking about players not knowing and caring about stats or schedules and whatnot. Point spreads are another one. Like, I remember when UCLA made to the championship game a couple of years ago. Someone asked Mick Cronin, they said, so you guys are underdogs. And he goes, well, I tell you what, I'm going to tell that to my kids because they don't know that. He said they're pretty arrogant and cocky, actually. Like, he laughed. And it was Mick when he was funnier. He basically said, no, they think they should be the favorites, right?
Yeah.
And somebody asked Scotty Barnes about, you guys are like the underdogs, and they even brought up point spreads. And like Scotty Barnes said, point spreads don't mean jack. And he went off on a little profane tirade. He said, that doesn't mean anything. And Brandon Ingram chimed in and basically said, there's a lot of people know-it-alls that don't know jack on social media. Like, the Raptors have a chip on their shoulder and something to prove here. I like their coach, too. Darko, who's a hard-ass Serbian, who said, they said, oh, it's going to be tough on the road. And he goes, this isn't like Europe where they're pointing lasers in your eyes, all right? And there's 30,000, like, screaming people. He said, we'll be fine. My pick, Kevin, for this series, to me, from a betting perspective, dude, it's minus 105 to go over 5.5 games, Kevin. I believe that I'm not even going to say, the Raptors can win too, because I think this series is a toss-up. All right, I'll tip my cap to the Cavs. I think they're way heavily favored. I like the Raptors plus 2.5 games in this series, but it's the exact same price as 5.5 games in the series, Kevin. So will the series go over under 5.5 games? I'm saying over with the Toronto Raptors and the Cavaliers. This series is going at least 6.
Yeah, I tend to agree. It's funny. The Raptors plus 2.5 on the one book I'm seeing is minus 125 compared to the over 5.5 being minus 110. So they're almost saying, well, maybe, there's a slim chance that it's Toronto in a rout. The thing that I don't like about Cleveland heading into this postseason, I think this stuff matters. How few reps they have together. The amount of games where Allen, Mobley, Harden, and Mitchell all played, it's less than 10. And a lot of those games weren't full minutes, so there's a lot of figuring out. We've seen this Cavs team a couple of years ago have a longer series against a way outmatched Orlando team. Went 7 that probably never really should have gone 7, right? So I think that it wouldn't stun me if this series was long. And I think and you can speak to this better than anybody, even if the Cavs win the first 2, Toronto playoff basketball again. It's fine. Not that the Raptors don't want to grab one of the first two, but you get everybody back up north, it's a completely different atmosphere, and I think that that's totally relevant. Like, how many home courts, Gabe, can swing a full series? Toronto's one of them. I think anybody would agree with that.
And I get the feeling, as I was thinking about how it plays out, that it is going to be tied after two, Kevin. I could see, listen, can Toronto steal one in Cleveland? I think they can. Ironically, Toronto have been a better road team this year than home team. But as you stated, It's been like 4 years, 4 years since it's been playoff basketball in Toronto. It's a great crowd. They're going to be fired up. To me, I look at this series, and the odds makers don't think I'm crazy, Kevin, because I thought I was going to get better odds for this looking at this right now. What do you think, like, the series tied at 2 after 4 should be? It's only plus 200.
You should get a better number than that.
So that's telling me, what's that telling you, though?
Yeah.
That's the odds makers saying, this could literally, definitely be 2-2.
Yeah.
Like, for picking 4 games correctly in advance, guys, you figure you get a better number than that. But read between the lines, and it tells you that it's a distinct possibility. And good call by you. They can lose the first 2 and win the next 2 at home. I get the feeling that they'll split. I think they'll split. They'll both split. That's what I'm going to call. I say that they both split, and it's going to be 2-2 after 4 games, and our bet is already won, Kevin, after 4 games.
Yeah, that's always the sweet thing when you do the over 5.5. And some books will just pay you out when it's 2-2 because you're automatically
or take the Raptors 2.5.
in.
Could you imagine if I'm being a diehard Raptor fan, I lost my bet because the Raptors 1-5?
It would be insane. It's hard to imagine, but I
know.
I tell you what, you start to think about it, right? You start to think the more you stare at it there. And that's kind of the way that you have to try and play a lot of these series. Like, one thing, and we'll have more time. We're going to talk to Craig next, but, like, Minnesota to win game 1, Denver to win the series. Better than 5-1. I think that's interesting. I think Denver win the series, but you try and find some good numbers. So we'll be right back after the break. Game-Time Decisions live on a Thursday. Kevin Walsh, Gabriel Morency. We are joined by Craig Mish here on Game-Time Decisions. Of course, host of Newswire Pro Baseball Today, covering all things Major League Baseball for us. And I'm going to start here, Craig. Mike Trout cannot stop hitting home runs. He looks like Mike Trout, kind of. And I think I somehow probably already asked you this season, so just forgive me because I'm going to do it a bunch of times as long as he's healthy. Am I wasting my time hoping that Mike Trout gets traded somewhere? So I get the Angels are 10-10. Please don't try and tell me they're going to be in the playoffs. I can't. Can we get Mike Trout traded somewhere, Craig? Is that possible this year, or is that a wasted hope?
Yeah, I think you can hope that, but if the Angels generally don't operate like most teams do. So, through the years, they've really made some odd moves, Kevin. The oddest of all, of course, was keeping Shohei Ohtani when I think everybody pretty much knew that he was going to leave, and they, put their foot on the pedal a little bit in a season where they couldn't win. And most folks in the industry think that the Angels set themselves back years with that, because who knows what they could have gotten even on a rental agreement with some team for Ohtani where they would have gotten him for 3 months. So I think it's a fair question to ask, but generally speaking, the Marino family, they've owned the team for a really long time. It is my belief, at least, that they love Mike Trout and generally just are not going to ever trade him. I just think that they probably want him to finish his career with the Angels. It would really require, I think, Trout to speak out, and that's not something that he's ever done. So, who knows is really the answer. If the Angels were smart, obviously, Kevin, that they would, move this into the future in any way that they possibly can, but they've been stuck in neutral for about a decade.
They're at a crossroads, too, with the ownership. Like you said, Craig, I think it's time for him to sell the team. They have a stadium issue coming up, and there's a lot of drama going on there. But, guys, he doesn't want to get traded, Kevin. That's the whole thing, right? It's not like he's some great player that's being held prisoner, and, they won't let him go. He's never once wanted to get traded. He's never demanded to get traded. It is what it is. I mean, he's born to be a Philadelphia Philly, Kevin. I mean, let's be real.
Yeah.
I'm amazed he hasn't been a Philly yet. Or you see how good, how well he hits a Yankee Stadium. I'm sure you'd like to see him in pinstripes.
Oh, I mean,
but
yeah, of course.
He needs to want to leave. The guy doesn't seem to want to leave.
The thing is, we've come full cycle again where they actually could get stuff for Mike Trout. We went through the cycle of they weren't going to trade him at his apex because he was Mike Trout. Then they couldn't trade him because they weren't going to get a real return while he's Mike Trout. I feel like, and who knows, it's April, I get it. We'll see what bats are available at the deadline. That's going to dictate a lot. But just bringing in Mike Trout still feels like something that winning teams should want to be interested in.
Yeah, but then we get into there's only a couple of teams that are willing to pay big money to players. So then you get into a smaller, I almost think of it like Giannis, Craig. Mike Trout isn't, I know he's had success right now, right? But it's not like trading Mike Trout 5 years ago or something. Yeah, I'm not saying you wouldn't get a bunch of draft picks, but it's not the same.
You wouldn't get anything. You wouldn't get anything.
Yeah.
You wouldn't get anything.
Yeah.
I mean, his contract is.
Teams would be like, we're taking on all the money. That'll be the perk.
And
we're
that's
taking
it.
on the money. Yeah.
And taking on money when they don't know if they'll even have a salary cap or floor next season too. So it becomes a really difficult.
And for a guy that gets hurt all
player.
the time. Even though he's been healthy, God bless. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I just don't. I mean, Kevin, the bottom line is that until the Angels start operating differently, I just don't see it. They've had some really weird transactions through the years that haven't made a lot of sense. And, as Gabe said, in that market, they can't start over, because the guys, 15, 20 miles down the road are never going to start over. So it's like they can't either. And so they're in neutral. They've been in neutral for a long time.
I think that
they've spent money, but just on the wrong guys.
Well, they've tried.
Silly money. Yeah, silly money.
Silly moves. Silly moves. I'm not going to dispute that, Craig. I'm not going to dispute. They're a poorly run team, but they have spent money.
What they did with Ohtani is probably the single worst decision, most costly decision a franchise has made in the last.
In baseball, yeah.
I don't know.
It was a
ever?
Big one.
I mean,
it was a big one. Yeah.
It's a crazy crate, but it is what
it is. Yeah, but Ohtani wouldn't have agreed to sign an extension. You'd have to have him sign an extension and all that, Kevin. It's never as simple as it seems when trading a star.
I don't know. I think they could have traded him. I think Ohtani was open to being traded that last year. Again, something's better than nothing. Craig, I have appreciated the April check-ins of are we allowed to panic yet? 8 straight losses. Second biggest money spent. Where are we at on Mets panic here early April?
Yeah, I guess if they hadn't started off the season okay, then it'd be deep panic. But look, I'm just not surprised, because when you try and mix a bunch of new players together and a bunch of new personalities together, this is bound to happen. Teams, you just can't be bought at this point. I understand. Yeah, I mean, the Dodgers definitely have bought a lot of players, but the core of the team, Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts, and even when Kershaw was there and some of their other pitchers, they had players there too. This was just basically a team thrown together, it felt like, at the end of the spring. So I do think it'll take some time. Maybe I will be the half full guy, and I'm not a half full guy generally speaking on the Mets, but I think that I will be. And I think before the end of the season, and look, without Soto it's tough, but when Soto comes back, they'll get hot. They're definitely, even with this long losing streak, Kevin, they're not buried at all. Take a look at the records in the National League. There's only one team above everyone else, and everyone else is pretty much the same. So it would be crazy for me to say that they're done this early in the year. I can't do it.
Fair enough. They've been a favorite in 15 of the 19 games so far, right? So, I get the Dodger stuff and the way it all looked against LA, but I'm just saying the San Francisco Giants have been a favorite so far in 7 of their 18 games, right? That's always why.
Well, there's New York bias. Doesn't matter. There's always New York.
The Mets being favored isn't New York bias. It's just expectation.
But they're all. It's payroll bias. Payroll.
Yeah,
I mean, they look at their payroll, and they're always going to be favorites. Yeah, but that'll normalize at some point. A couple of years ago, when it was 3 years ago or 2 years ago, where the Mets were completely out of it. And horrible. 2023 at the end of the season, they were dogs for the last 30 games of the year when Buck Showalter was there before they blew that thing up. So that can happen, but it's just too early for them to make them dogs like that. They can't do it.
Yeah, all right.
The Braves are chipping away, though. Hey, the Braves are chipping away. They just keep on adding up wins, right? Yeah, that's the thing. That's the only thing to keep your eye on there, I'd say.
Everybody loves the Nationals. Craig, we appreciate it as always. All right, game time decisions. We are back here on a Thursday night. I want to just throw a couple of things that kind of caught my eye yet, or so far with the NBA series options that are available. I mentioned Scotty Barnes to lead in assists. Similar approach, if you will, in Jalen Johnson to lead Hawks, Knicks in total rebounds. Cat is tough. He's the favorite for a reason. But Jalen Johnson might play like a full 8 minutes a game more than Cat in this series. Cat's a foul trouble guy. Jalen Johnson's not going to see the bench. I think it's going to be close. We're getting a good number for something that should be close, Gabe.
Just going to be a Jalen Johnson coming out party, and there's something about Atlanta and MSG, too. We'll see if it continues non-Trae Young, without Trae Young. I can't wait for that series, Kevin. Really, really looking forward to seeing how it plays out. Like
what do you think the Lakers Rockets
a lot of Jalen Johnson. Perplexing, bro. Scared me. Perplexing. And I'll bang off. These are my NBA picks, and then we can go over them again tomorrow, etc. But what I caught my eye, Kevin, was Raptors Cavs over 5.5. Okay, and I like the Raptors plus 2.5, but Raptors Cavs over 5.5. Same thing with the Hawks and Knicks. This Hawk team's like what, 21-6, 21-5, whatever it is. Like, you know, over the last 27 games, they're for real. This Hawk team, guys. Quinn Snyder can coach. They believe. Like they got big dudes. They're super athletic. They get in your face. This is not like the Trae Young, like Atlanta Hawk, like they're soft. No. The Hawks are going to be a load. I don't think they're going to be intimidated by MSG. So I think same thing. I like the series over 5.5. 76ers Celtics. I just don't see the Sixers winning more than one game in this series. I wouldn't be surprised if they got swept. So I'll lay the price, Kevin, minus 210. And I got the Chris Kofsky parlay special here. 4 teams at minus 133, which I always hate. Yeah, I need 4 things to happen. But I threw, listen, the Celtics aren't losing to the Sixers. The T-Wolves will win a game or two, but they're not beating the Nuggets. The Spurs aren't losing to the Blazers, although I think the Blazers will be more competitive than people think of. I almost want to believe in the Lakers to shock the world and all this type of stuff, Kevin, but the Rockets are 9-1 in the last 10 down the stretch. It just can't be done, man. Yeah, they got too many players. You got Thompson. You got Sengun. You got Kevin Durant. You got Shepard. You got who? You got Hachimura and LeBron. Luke Kennard. Like, what are you going to do? If Austin Reeves is there, whatever. But so those are my NBA thoughts. And quickly for tonight, guys, give me the Louisville Kings to win their first game tonight. These guys have been really, really like hard hit with bad luck. They lost last week on a penalty. They didn't even get scored on in a bizarro world play. Give me the Kings on the money line. I think it'll be a close game tonight in the UFL on the NFL Network. Let's go over the number. The Houston Gamblers are the worst defense in the UFL. Let's go over 45.5. Lucky Jackson to score a touchdown at plus 140. Caught a touchdown pass last week. As I stated, Houston have given up 40 or more twice, 20 another time. Like, their defense is terrible. Louisville are going to score on them. So give me Lucky Jackson to score a touchdown at plus 140. Zach Davidson had 2 touchdowns last week. Wide receiver. 2 touchdowns. You're getting plus 260 for a touchdown tonight. Nobody bets and cares about the UFL, so I'm getting this big fat number. If this hits, man, that'll be nice. And finally, on the way out, we'll lay the 1.5 with the Edmonton Oilers, Kevin.
Yeah, I love it. A full UFL card. Gabe always stepping up.
Football.
Behind the scenes, best bets. Christian Walker for Chris. A goal scorer that's not on the Sabres for Sam. I thought he spelled it wrong. Daniil Butt. Daniil Butt. All right, there we go. And then we got a Rockies money line for AJ here, fading the Astros. The Rockies and the Astros just play every day. Like, I don't know how they figured that out so early into a season. I will say just quickly with that Lakers-Rockets series, I was listening to Dr. David Chow. Look, like, he's a doctor, but it's not like he can only figure out if it's a football injury. And he's like, I don't see Luka coming back because it's too risky. I think Reeves might come back. And there's a part of my brain that's like, well, maybe Luka will risk it, and maybe Reeves will come back. So I'm trying to figure out cute ways to, like, or the Rockets to win
in
game
6,
one.
Kevin.
Yeah.
Rockets in 6. Let's be real.
Probably. Here's the one thing I can tell people, and I know that this will be right up Gabe's alley. There's still a lot of bets that have to be placed from now until Saturday. And yes, while I will be getting married on Saturday, I will also
You'll still be betting?
absolutely tweeting and betting picks out on Saturday for the NBA
The wife
playoffs.
knows what she's getting into. Congratulations.
Thank you, Gabe.